Alright, so last time we worked on getting this to render a window, transparent. Uh, Attempted to keep it on top. So this is going to be the baseline for what we want to keep working. Right, what we're going to do now is pull everything out into their own files. So we'll make an actual include. We would need a way for this to work with Windows. I'm GUI. So that means that a bunch of these will have to interact with each other just to get it to work. I'm cool with that. So what we'll start on first is our window.h pragma once. Alright, and I feel like the easiest way to go about this is definitely with classes. Window. We'll make this public. Window. And this would need to take in some window properties. I don't like having it set solely as one thing. What I want to be able to do is store the window's last position, size and scale, and then just spit it out as an actual window. So what we could do here is make a struct window properties. And this will have see, I don't know if I want to use strings or const char pointers. If I use const char pointers, I will need expected that after top level declaration. What do you mean? How do you mean? Unknown type name class. Oh, I feel like it's registering it more as C. So as soon as I compile this, I should be able to do like LSP or restart. Fantastic. It doesn't even know what class is. Yeah, I was writing in C not that long ago, so it doesn't know what it is. But we will do const char pointer window title. We'll just say title. What I want to do real quick is actually force this to window.cpp window.h force it to compile. Huh. What does it think we are using? Command clang. Uh, Oh well. It compiles. That's all that really matters. So we'll have a const char pointer title int width we should have some valid window sizes in here, I feel. 700 by 800. We'll give that a shot. Ah, there we go. It actually started working now, so I'm happy. Alright, so this should take in a whatever that is. Const window properties props equals window properties. And we will do a destructor. Right, so we want to not really mirror how we handle it for, say, an application framework such as this. But we really just want to mirror it. Right, so this would have a init shutdown and these would be locked behind a private flag.
Can I feed these guys?
See, something like this is actually pretty standard for it. Void. We won't have an on update. Will we have an on update? This would mainly just be for whenever the main loop runs. On update will probably handle the rendering. So yeah, we'll have an on update. Doesn't really need anything special. Uint 32t get width uint 32t get height width height an event callback. I don't think we'll even need to worry about an event callback because all this is going to do is render. We don't got to worry about setting vsync or anything like that. Native window, this would just be like getting the glfw window pointer. W window pointer. I don't know if we'll ever need to get the native window because this is meant to be a wrapper for it. We don't even need to get the time. But now we just make a private flag, GLFW window, pointer. You know, actually we do need a get native window because I'm GUI needs, well no, we don't actually, because we can set the window context whenever we initialize. Okay, I'm not too worried about it. And this will also initialize GLAD. So I'm not too worried about having a separate graphics context be initialized here, because we're trying to be as bare bones as open source as possible with this. So we'll do struct window data, const char pointer, title. Now there's a couple different reasons why I am using const char pointers, and the main reason is it saves us on space. And that's basically it. It will save us on memory. And anything that saves us on memory whenever there's going to be hundreds of different words that people use, the better. Right? So we'll do uint32t with height. We're not worried about vsync event callback. Not really. Because I don't know, I doubt we'll need to worry about scrolling or anything like that with it, just because if I want to see a Twitch chat method, I'll have my phone near, be like, method, message, I could just look at it. Right, we can do window data, mdata. Const window properties props shut down cosant right. This doesn't have access to glfw window or anything like that, so we'll go ahead and just include glfw, and just as I thought, it does have the actual includes for that, but we'll probably make a pre-compiled header before long. Yeah, we are recording. Nice. Alright, so now what we want to do is be able to create all of our window context and whatnot with this. So that way our pull events goes away, our swap buffers go away. Because realistically you can pull events and swap buffers at the same time. Like if I do that right now, that ain't gonna do anything. We can still move it around and do all of that. We can still close it. So these will be usually paired up together whenever we want to pull events or that. So we can go back into our actual window. Yeah, right here. This would handle glfw swap buffers as well. So not too bad. And we should also make this handle I'm GUI. No, I don't think so. because ImGUI is a layer between the window and user. I don't think the window should own ImGUI, but I think it should be initialized before ImGUI, of course. So I think it might actually be worth doing the glfw window pointer get window const return window. It shouldn't be const, because if we're doing that, then it may need to be changed, or the data may need to be manipulated a little bit. Right, so in window.cpp, we can go ahead and get some of this functionality in. Right, so we don't need to worry about setting up this, that. In here, this will just have glfw swap buffers with our actual window. Right, and these are just going to be going down to window, window. These also need to be swapped. Alright, so we got update, window properties, printf. We don't have that. We'll do standard IO. Alright, so on init, we can grab basically out to here is what we will need, since we don't have to worry about any sort of callbacks. And we are not going to be running this with a borderless full screen. As a matter of fact, I am curious as to why this thinks probably because this doesn't exist. Right, so we can check that. Window properties. We don't have any sort of assertion. So we can make this be a Boolean instead. No, we can't. That is not how our setup is. We could always create our own assertions. That is definitely an option. For now, we will just assert on that. Use of undeclared assert. This is in C asserts. Right, let's see. Member reference base type. Show definition. Reference to const char pointer. Oh, this guy right here. Right, so we don't have an actual graphics context. Our graphics context is Whoops. Let me go ahead and do this real quick. Our graphics context is basically just our GLAD context. And we need a GLAD context before we can actually use functions like swap buffers and whatnot. Right, and we get undeclared GLAD nonsense. So we can just include GLAD. And this is going to give us an error because it wants to be included before GLFW. So before we even do anything, we'll say define GLFW include none, and that should get rid of that error. Right, we don't have access to stdcout, but what we could do here is say this equals well, we could just do that. Assert false. Right, and that is our window context that we've got set up. We do have on update that would still need to be sufficed, I'm pretty sure. Nope, we got it right here. So we've also got shutdown. And shutdown's pretty simple. So simple, in fact, that we should be able to just copy and paste it over. Right, so now in main, we should be able to just say delete both of these, include window.h, delete all of the, oh wait, we actually do need some extra little bit in here, now that I'm just remembering that we did change a few things. So we will create this with window hints, such as this. So that way it keeps its transparency. And there's a couple more things that I wanted to set up. Int pos x equals 0. Int pos y equals 0. And this is so we can store it later and actually utilize it rather than it keep resetting it to the middle with whatever size you gave it previously. So we can also do that in here. I honestly don't even know how GLFW handles that. I'm pretty sure if we have it set to 0, 0, it's just going to show up like in one of these bottom corners. We'll see. uint32t. Well, I'm pretty sure this actually stores it as a float. let's see, window guide. That doesn't tell me anything. GLFW stores window positions and sizes within the GLFW object. Data type is GLFW used for window pause. Int, that's what I thought. Whoops. Okay, so now, window.cpp. We'll have mdata.pausex equals props.pausex data.pausey equals props.pausey, and then we can completely remove this and just keep it as window when equals window. For now, we will just hard code these values, and for storage reasons, we'll do const char pointer title equals hello world. And for that, the reason behind that is because if we didn't, it would not show correctly. And we could just do that, I'm pretty sure. Right, and instead of doing that, we could say equals win dot get window. Get window. And instead of doing that, we'll say win dot on update. Right, and this would also need to be win dot. Actually, we can completely eradicate all of that. This would be win dot get width, win dot get height, and I was wrong. We will definitely need some callbacks for width and height. So we'll work on the resize and window move callbacks. Win dot get pause x, and then win dot get pause y. Right, and of course those aren't going to work we will do this. Set them up as ints, pause x, pause y. Right, and like I said, before we get too far, we will work on the resize events. So all these really are just callbacks. That's mouse position, scroll. We don't want any sort of mouse callback. This would still need this. Size callback, focus callback. There is also a position callback. So what we'll do is probably work on that too. So, whoops. Let's go and get this off the screen for now. Because what we will do is in here, we need to get the user pointer. Oh, that's nasty. Alright, so this is our size callback. We don't have events just yet. That is something that we will also work on. Let's see, we also need Jill FW. That's a set window size callback. There's also a get window size. I'm pretty sure as long as we read the window size stuff, we don't have to worry about a getter for it. Set window pause. Window. And this is supposed to be a callback, and we also need to make a lambda for this. This will be basically like all the others. I say all the others, but it's mainly just our size callback. Window int pause x int pause y. Right, and this will pretty much just mirror the functionality of this, and replacing data with that, or not data, pause x with pause x, pause y with pause y, right? And we still don't have the events, which is cool beans with me. Window moved event, or move event, and this will do Pause X, pause Y. Not that it's like super necessary because these events are usually held for recalculating view projections, but having them will make it easier for us to actually store it. So let's go ahead and work on our events. Easier said, easier done. We'll do event.h. This will actually be in its own folder because it's going to be gnarly. Not super gnarly, thinking about it, because all we're really collecting from this is application events. So in here, we'll go into source, ferret, event. We'll copy this and tweak what we need to. Right, there's no ferret. There is string stream, there's string. This expects that. I don't really care what it expects. We're going to bring everything like this. Alright, so what we're going to do is maybe keep all of these for now. Maybe. We will just strip it. We don't really care about those. All we're really after is our application events. Right, all of these can stay the same. That can stay the same. Event dispatcher can stay the same because it's not super duper important. To include events and application event.h. I hear a cat meowing. Alright, we'll just copy that, paste it here. And since we are in the same directory, we just straight up include. Right, we want to keep the window close events. Why is this acting like that? Oh, because it's being stupid. Okay. In that case, I can also be stupid. So on the resize event, we'll want it to be tracked like this. We don't really care about focus or lost focus. There is already a window moved event that we can work with.
Shut up, bro. Shut the fuck up.
She's telling you all about it.
Yeah, I just locked in the bathroom for 30 minutes with the hot water on so she's not fucking snoring in my ear. And now she's telling me everything about it.
Telling you all the stuff that you couldn't hear before. Alright, so this we will need to kind of rework to kind of match this. Because right now it is a very blank one because I never got around to implementing it. That is on me, but here we go. Window moved event. This is going to take in, what is it taking up there, an unsigned int? Well, we're just going to use int because I know windows could technically go into negative. space if you've got multiple monitors and it's not on the main display. Pause X, pause Y, and we should also set it. Alright, and this is really just a storage class as well. And it will have some helpers to actually retrieve the data, just like how we've got them for this one. So I will do that. We'll put them all here. Right, and this would need to return X, pause Y. And that is basically it as far as this goes. We could do the whole toString window move event. And because there's so many phantom errors, it does not want to do anything for me. Right, so now we have that set up. We can go ahead and lob off all of these and include headers in here. Right, yeah, we definitely just do include event. Why is it just straight up event.h? This needs to be event/event. Maybe it's application event. Pretty sure it is. Yeah, it's going to be our application event. Right, and now we have access to set our callbacks. I'm going to quickly build this so that way my errors will go away. So where are we crashing out at? Those ones don't really matter to me because we are working on them. I'm mainly focused on that. So we do have a bit shift error. I completely forgot to implement that. And it's not too hard. We'll do include event, and all this really is one bit shift 0, so it's literally just 1. Right, we will recompile that. And it looks like now it's actually willing to hear me out as far as these go. So I'll go into here, do that. We still don't have our event callback in there. So I'm pretty sure for that we just include event somewhere. And by somewhere I mean like just with the window. So we'll go into here and include event/event, and then have this we do have an actual helper in here somewhere. Let's go ahead and open up this one. I would have preferred if it actually gave me something to use. Yep, here's this. So we can go ahead and set this up. We don't have functional. That should get rid of that error. So now we can come into here, say event callback function. I'll even go back a little bit because we do need to actually set the event callback function. Hello? That's not what I meant to do. Event callback and an inline void to actually register the event callback. Set event callback const event callback function callback. And we'll just do mdata.event callback equals callback. So now we can have one global function. I say global. One main function that will make the system use it. So if there's any sort of function, it will go straight to this callback that we provide and give it the event information. Alright, and that is basically that. If we go back into window, let's see, there's a window move event. I'm pretty sure it is labeled as window moved, which we need to fix. Because we should not have any sort of tense for this. We could do that. There we go. So now if there's a window move event, we should be able to receive it too. So there is a couple different things that we could do real quick. We don't really need to get or set the position because this will automatically update. So let's see, what else do we need to do? This is going off the display's width and height. Oh, well, this is just going off of our window. Win.getWindow. We no longer need to call clear there. Add GL viewport 00 display width and height. These will probably be moved out into a function. But I don't think we need to do that. So if I do that and this, you can see, well, it's completely black for starters. And that is probably due to the fact that our transparency is a bit off. Bad function call, I will work on that once we get there. So we'll also handle window closed events since we've got it. Let's see, GLFW should window close. Anyways, whenever we get into here and generate the window, we can see both of these going. If I go back into main, I'm going to quickly revert it to where it was before we started this one. And we can see before create window was called, that's whenever we did all of that. No. Alright, and then we can go back into source, main, and look, we are golden. So yeah, in here it should be done after init. We will redo that. Oh, we saw something for a second there. Oh. So, it's obviously trying, right? Oh, bad call as well. So, since we did some sort of event handling, we can't really do much right now, right? So if we backtrace this, continue frame, because we can see that it tries to handle the handle it, and it doesn't really like it, right? So it's obviously not all of them, because we can move it around just fine, right? This is the set pause callback. We can go ahead and come into here and printf pause %I new line pause y. Ooh. That's not how that works. Hello? Why does that sound like me? Okay. So this does that. Oh, I see the problem. I think you guys can see the problem too. So we're referencing our event callback, right? Well, this bad boy is null. So what should we do to get around him being null? We should probably just set it, right? And that is pretty easy to do. All we really got to do is recreate a easy little function this guy right here. We'll just throw it at the top of main. It's not too complex or complicated, but it is a little weird. So I'm not even going to explain it. In here, we can see that we set the event callback like this. So let's go ahead and work on an event callback system. Or not system, an event to call back to. So we can do, pretty sure it's just a void. Yep. Void on event. And this will take in a event E. Event dispatcher. Dispatcher E. Right, and that is quite literally it. We don't have to do anything special. We don't have to do anything pretty. As a matter of fact, we can bring this back, and I'm pretty sure it would do it now. So we can do that fine, and we can go ahead and not do that. Oh, I thought I had it. Bad throw. We can see where it's actually hitting our operator right here. So let's see what this is doing. 8, 7, let's go up 1, 9, print data. So we can see that window data is set. Oh, you know what's going on? I'm still kind of stupid. We never actually set it. We'll do win dot. Uh-oh, that's not a good sign. Set event set event callback, and this will be find event function on event. Right, this would need this handler. There is no this for it, so we don't need to do that. And all we need is function forward args. Right, so now if I do that, we can see that we can in fact send events, and as you can see, it is transparent, but as soon as we let go, it decides to go back to black. Right, that is no bueno. So we're going to see just what's going on as far as that's going. So we set our transparency color here, but something tells me it's not the transparency color, it's more just our frame buffer, right? So we don't actually clear the frame buffer anymore, which is also not good, right? So if I go basically up here and do GL clear, I don't like why it's doing that. Why the fuck? LSP restart. There is no GL clear. What we're gonna do right now is get out of that, go back into here, And now it'll miraculously work because fuck me, right? Anyways, we'll do that. So we don't actually clear the window buffer anymore. And we should do that up here. We'll do GL clear. GL buffer bit. I forget. It's GL color buffer bit. Right, and this doesn't have any sort of recollection of it because we don't have our context manager anymore to clear it. So what we're going to do instead is void clear, and after update these are so weirdly spaced. We'll do clear, and this is going to basically just do GL clear, GL color buffer bit, and that will work. Right, and this should be done between render and render draw data. GL, not that, we'll do win.clear. Right, so now it's transparent. We fixed that. Yay, we're smart. So, another little fun fact. We can see that it looks fine whenever I do it like this, whenever I resize it. Oh, it actually looks fine here too. Since we got rid of the whole color buffer bit thing, we can't actually see the window sizing funny. But it's definitely sizing funny. Can kind of see it. But it doesn't really matter. Right? So we're going to go ahead and close that. Everything's doing just fine. GLFW library not initialized. Exited. That's interesting. We do, in fact, tell it to init, right? Because we init right here. We say glfw init. Yeah, it's definitely initialized. Okay, so that is our window context, right? That's pretty simple. All the code was pretty much there, easy to access. So the next step is going to be getting our ImGUI setup moved out. Let's see, how long has this one been going for? About an hour. Alright, I think that is where I will leave this portion. We moved GLFW completely out into its own thing, and now we have solely a window class that we can initialize, set the title of, bind events to, read the events, and push them to ImGUI here. So the next step afterwards is going to be pulling all of this boilerplate ImGUI code out into its own file set, so that way we can just use it without looking at all this nasty ickiness, right? So yeah, we'll go ahead and do that next.